In this video, we are going to take a look at the Egyptian contract FN-49. This particular rifle has been in my collection for a very long time, and other than the common ones, when they came into the country, I think Century Arms refurbished a bunch of them. So they were refinished, the metal, and they had brand new stocks put on them, and they were the most common variety there. Then of course some in the original condition like this that were in good shape and all original did appear, and they're kind of hard to find other than the ones that were refurbished. And also this particular rifle is unusual, as it is the variation that has 3 sling swivels and is cut on the left side, we'll look at it, to take a scope mount for a sniper scope. But I believe this rifle is one of the variations. It never had a scope mounted on it. It was cut for a scope, but never got one mounted on there. And if you look at some other videos on YouTube, they will show you the complete sniper rig with the scope on it and that. And I guess from what I got from the videos, they ordered the guns cut for the scopes, but they had trouble getting the scopes. They had to get them from Czechoslovakia or something. And the scopes actually are rarer and worth more than the guns, than the rifles themselves. So it's an interesting bit of military history. For one point in time in post-World War II, this was probably the best and most advanced semi-automatic military rifle available. Of course, Fabrique Nationale in Belgium was also working and ended up producing the FN-FAL by the mid-50s, and that became the standard Western European NATO rifle from the 50s onward in the .308 caliber. So we'll take a closer look at the gun and some of the high points about it and talk about it a little more. Okay, we'll take a look at the gun here. So here is your stock disc. I'm not quite sure what the purpose is, but there's another video that shows it and shows you what a forgery is. Forgery would have something else written down here. So this is the original. And now your serial numbers in Arabic are here on the stock. They're here on the dust cover. And this here, or not, that's the top cover. This is the dust cover that you can put to cover up the action. There's your rear sight, which is a peep sight. Anyone used to the M1 Garand in that should be very, it's easy to get used to this. And then your elevation is controlled this way with this little slider. You got your top cover. You got this lever here which locks the bolt back. I'm not quite sure what the purpose of that is. Your bolt, there is a crest here, and I have the early style, which is the crown. There is another Egyptian crest, which is an eagle, which is, I think, a later crest and is a bit more valuable of a variation. And if we look down here, we can see where it's written. It's made by Fabrique Nationale Belgium. There is a number down there on the receiver, but I do not know if that corresponds to the Arabic numerals there. The gun is parkerized and has a black enamel finish on it. 10-shot magazine, which I believe you can get that out, but it is not a detachable magazine in the sense of what we're used to. It's more or less fixed, kind of like a SKS. And down here on the trigger, there's your safety, which you flip down, and you will know that safety is on when you try to go to fire the gun. and you flip the safety up. Okay, and then we come here, and now we have our front sight, which is that there, protected by the ears. This is your access to your gas piston, bayonet lug, and all of these were fitted with this muzzle protector, which is just a round thing. You'd see some of them have like a cut style compensator mounted there. All of them ended up coming in with this plain muzzle protector here on the end of the barrel. Only a few of them, some of the sniper versions had that compensator or flash hider, whatever you want to call it. And we'll take a look at it from the other side now. Okay, and this rifle also has a rack number or whatever was painted on the rifle. So it's still in the original shape. It wasn't refinished. Like a lot of the guns that came through were refurbished, refinished. Like I said, this has that Parkerized black enamel on there. And here's another look at this locking lever. This thing locks the bolt back further than the lock from the magazine. And as you look here, this is where the difference is, where this is cut the receiver to accept that mount that slides in there for the scope, which would hang over. So this one's cut for a scope mount, and that's designated with this here. And also here's your third sling swivel, which is there's 1, 2, and 3. And what this was for is they used the sling much like the United States sling that was adjustable, and you can carry the rifle and take it down and use it as a target sling to wrap around your arm. And that's why they had this other sling swivel mounted, to put a marksman sling on there or whatever. And that's what it looks like from this side. So that's your basic gun, and like I said, it was, for the time it came out, 49, it's a lot sleeker, a lot nicer, operates a lot easier than the German or the Russian semi-autos. The Russians made one. Their semi-auto wasn't that reliable. The Germans had two variations of a semi-automatic gun that were, quite clunky and large. I think the 43 was a little bit better, but still ran into problems. And then the Garand was perfected, which isn't too bad, but there were drawbacks with the Garand, with the 8-round clip that couldn't be topped off and all that other stuff. So it kind of brought up the shortcomings. This has a 10-round magazine, and I'll get over there and we'll show you how you load it, and we'll talk about that. Okay, to disassemble this particular rifle, come here to the back. There's like a tab that you push out from the receiver. You can see there's a little hole, and swing this 180 all the way up to where it's like that. Then what you do is you take this upper cover, slide it forward, and pull up on it, and it'll come out. There's grooves in there. And you see there's cutouts here in the bottom. And remove it and the recoil spring. So there's your cover, recoil spring, and all of that. Then draw the bolt back, and you'll see where it'll line up with cutouts in the receiver here. Move that over so you can see it better. And then you should be able to lift it out of the receiver like that. Then the carrier or whatever, the carrier, the bolt carrier, the cover, slide the bolt back, then tip the forward end up, and the bolt comes out of the cover like that. Now this will expose the gun, and we'll take a look at it here. That's where your piston is, your magazine chamber, your bolt stop, ejector, and your hammer are all inside there. Okay, quick little look. Now, to reassemble it, what we do is this is the top of the bolt. That's how it looks. You take this and you take the bolt cover carrier, whatever. You start from what you want to do is you, with the bolt kind of upward, get it in the back first, then it kind of drops down in there. Try that again. Like I said, from the back you get these lugs here. You want them to go into the back of the cover like that, and then drop it down in, and you're all set. Okay, then with these slots, you'll see where it corresponds here in the receiver. You want to just drop it down on top, push the bolt forward where you see it come out. You want to push it forward, and then it should go where it locks in place. I know it's kind of difficult to see, but then we get the spring back in there, take our cover, kind of go up forward with it, drop it down, and let it slide back. You go up in, like I said, you go up forward, drop it down, and then let it slide back. Then flip this back over, and we're back together. Okay? Well, that's about the best I could get for a takedown and reassembly with the camera angle and that. But that's how it's done. Okay, looking at the gas system, you want to clean your gas piston. So, up here on this, you have this pin. One side is solid, one side has a hole in it. The one with the hole in it, push it out. Now, when that other one sticks out this way, you want to turn it so where the part protruding, you want it to come to where that is upward. Okay, if you do it the other way, alright, it'll get stuck. So, side with the hole, push it out with a drift, that comes up, and then rotate that so that other part sticking up comes out. And then your piston in there comes right out. There's a spring in there, but I ain't going to fool with it. And then you can clean your piston. Now, the only drawback about this firearm also, it does have an adjustable gas port. But you have to disassemble the gun to get to it. This is the standard tool. And we'll get it around where you can look at it, and I'll take that off. Okay, we go to this side of the gun. You can either use a screwdriver or you can use a tool which has a little screwdriver tip on the end. And what you would do is remove this screw here. Remove the screw. Then this cap here, sheet metal cap, slide forward a bit and chip it down and get this off. You got to kind of slide it forward, it hits the bayonet lug, and then just rotate it off. And then this section of the handguard will come up. There's our spring. There's our recoil spring for the piston. And now you have exposed your different gas ports. and I guess you can adjust them using the tool. You can adjust them one way or the other. There's notches there. I'm going to put this sucker back to where it was because I haven't had any trouble with it so far. So that's about the only drawback to this design, is you have to disassemble the gun to adjust the gas port. Where on FN-FAL you can do that from outside without having to remove handguards and all that other fun crap. Alright, so to put it all back, just slide that in there, lock it down. It's the wrong way. This way. Up on there. Put the screw in. And then tighten down the screw. Okay, once you have the screw tightened, take your piston and the spring, place that in here, slide them all the way down in there. Make sure that it's moving about in there as it should. Come on, get in there. Alright. Then we take our plug, push your pin out so you could grab a hold of it, or whatever, slide her in. I think you can get to it this way now. Push it in with a punch, rotate it over until it locks in place, and there you go. That's your gas system maintenance and disassembly and adjusting your ports. Well, I hope you liked this little video on an interesting gun out of my collection, the FN-49. Kind of a milestone in the development of military combat rifles. Interesting piece of history, and you know, I thought I'd include it, and maybe we'll get out, I'll order some ammo, and we'll get out to the range and shoot it. This gun is extremely accurate, and that's one of the reasons I kept it all of these years. So stay tuned.